Oh, it's like a meditation start, the ding.
Yeah, the gong.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, volley fans, whoever you are, welcome back to the SANDCAST podcast. Today's a good day. We're missing our guy, Travis Money Mawerder, but I think we'll survive. It might not be quite as well structured, having me host it.
And me answering questions.
and Maddison on the other end. But I think it'll be entertaining because we have Maddison McKibbin here. Beard bro number two.
Yeah.
Of 3.
Yeah.
And, he's here. His brother's over in Italy. So we decided to toast a little wine to the guy over in Italy.
Yep.
Just made that up, but...
That's the only reason why we're drinking wine.
Exactly.
Usually I don't drink on weekdays.
Yeah, we don't want to get dehydrated.
Yeah, exactly. So
but we'll rehydrate with our YAKO we have here.
Yes, exactly.
Good to go.
Here's you, Riley.
Cheers, Riley.
Jameson, you're at home. Editing.
Yeah, you're fine. Dude, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me, man. It's been a while.
Yeah. When was the last time you were on?
Dude, the last time I was on, you were at your last place.
We were at the dining room table.
Dining room table.
That's the real OGs.
And we filmed it, and we did the multicam because I just I gotten some multicam live thing.
Oh, that's right, where it kind of edited itself.
I had my buddy Colt help us out.
That's right.
That's when we were all just
winging it.
Hardcore.
Winging it.
Yeah. Actually, for the people listening, one of the first things we actually filmed was what did you and Riley call it? I filmed it.
Oh yeah, it was really bad.
Yeah, you and Riley. We have to pull that up, but you and Riley were doing. You dressed in aloha shirts.
I don't remember.
It was I do remember. It was
Lily
Koi something, and
oh yeah.
But it was a point in time where all of us were just winging it.
We were throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, it was some kind of volleyball sports talk show.
Yeah.
This is gonna be way too complicated, and hey, we're trying things. We tried things.
Yeah, I mean, you just gotta start somewhere.
I settled into the podcast space. You guys settled into your business venture.
Yeah. I mean, someone asked me the other day, they're like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And I was like, if you asked me that 5 years ago and you told me what we're doing now,
yeah, I'd
be like, whoa, what happened? Right. For you, 5 years ago today.
What year is it? 22?
It's 22.
I think I had just...
you were commentating 2017.
I was right at the beginning of my my autoimmune thing, I think.
Yeah.
Right?
So you were right in the middle of it.
Yeah.
Would you have thought that?
No. And that was always a dream, but I never really thought it'd be cool to do something outside of volley that's legitimate, something with
not only
value.
That, but also coming back.
Oh, and then coming back
and then winning,
what I did,
and then winning the Manhattan Beach Open back to back.
No, because I remember I went to the finals 2 years in a row before that, and then I was out obviously for a few years, and it's how many chances do you even get to be in the finals of the Manhattan Beach Open? So it's in the back of my mind, I was that could have been my chances. I just want to be on there once. That would be amazing, but you don't know if it's going to happen. And so now I'm on there twice. It's pretty nice.
I know.
Isn't it kind of a trip?
It is. Well, I mean, it's a trip.
Is it more of a trip?
First off. I mean, I think I made a reel of when you're having a bad day of volleyball, just remember that, Trevor Crabb is a back-to-back Manhattan Beach finalist, which we would have never thought growing up.
If you told us that growing up, what are the odds? Or, if we could all bet on it, we would have all put our life money down.
Oh, 1,000%.
Trevor probably at some point did call it. He was probably, I'm going on that pier 3 times. But okay, guy.
No. He called he was going to the NBA.
He called all kinds of crazy things.
Going to the NBA. So people who don't know, people know that we all grew up together, but it was mainly me and Taylor played together and Riley and Tri played together. Trevor was in and out of club.
Yeah, Trevor was our Well, I played club with Trevor.
Yeah.
And then he was like kind of like semi-beach rat with me and Brad and that crew.
But
and
not
Reese.
really. He never played like
Yeah, he was.
in the Queens Beach tournaments against like Alika and Lowry Hakala.
He did at some point. Yeah, he wasn't in those ones.
Yeah.
He was part of that beach crew for sure, but then he kind of was like, I play basketball.
Yeah, he didn't play high school basketball.
And then video games.
So I can't speak to that or no.
The crabs downstairs where it's just, they just have this like, this video gaming stadium basically where just all the kids would show up.
Yeah, no, I spent a lot of nights there. My senior year of high school, I remember a bunch of us would stay over there on Thursday night into Friday. And Taylor can speak to this. It's like totally out of the blue, but like we all loved the Beatles at that time.
Oh, that is weird.
That's super weird.
For Hawaii.
I know, super weird. And we would make like extravagant breakfasts Friday morning before school because the crabs lived like, I don't know, a few blocks away from Punahou. But we would all make breakfast. Me, Taylor, a few friends, and we'd stay the night.
Interesting.
I know, super like weird anecdotal stories. I got so many of them just growing up with Taylor.
Speaking of sleepovers, I was a straight nomad growing up. I just get my backpack, one pair of board shorts, and just, all right, everyone ask your parents if I could stay over. See you guys in a week, family.
Try to stay over a lot, but it's always good adventures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tried to entertain. Tried to not overstay my welcome too much, but
no, it's all right.
Went
a few water balloon launching excursions to Manoa Park.
Yeah. I think you guys got your... I definitely influenced you guys to be a little more troublesome, I think.
Just a little mischievous.
Yeah, in a friendly way.
Yeah, you just came up with some creative ideas. I mean, most of the stuff we won't be able to use, but was it me, you, and Riley that set up the hat that we blocked off the street with like cones and at Haheone? Haheone
Park?
Was that us or was that?
I think I remember that. I don't think I was there. I remember the story.
Okay. Never mind. We set up cones with like
in the
string.
Street.
Yeah,
so people just like...
Well, people were driving really fast.
Right.
So instead of putting up a sign, because it's dangerous, we like put up cones and we tied them all with string.
Right in the middle.
And some car just hit it.
Plowed it.
Plowed it and dragged it all. So I probably have to edit that out.
Dude, the... just like bombing cars with water balloons while they're going at full speed and just like slamming on their windshield. And they're like... It's so dangerous.
I mean, we were driving through Manoa and we had a bunch of them, and you were on the passenger side, one lane street, and you're just grenade tossing them over.
The car's going the other direction,
so they couldn't. One car stopped, and we kept going, or maybe I thought a car stopped because I was in the back seat. You know, it was Riley in the front, you there, I'm in the back. You're just like 4.
Yeah, nailed it. Just so bored and had so much time on our hands.
Yeah, but I think we did well with it.
Yeah, it's good to be in Hawaii, I feel like. Small community, everything's fairly mellow. I guess it's like living in the South Bay here, but Hawaii's like you can like let your kids go out by themselves and
and get in trouble and learn life lessons and
I'm glad I was doing all that at a young age, before like 18-ish.
Yeah, before you can really get in trouble.
I mean, imagine if we went to LA at sea and started doing it around those neighborhoods. We'd probably be dead.
Yeah, I'm glad we got that out. But, okay, I didn't know that I should have known, but I was more focused on my own game and me and my partner doing well. But you made 2 Manhattan finals before the 2016, 2017.
Yeah, me and Haida made 2 in a row, I believe. And then I had match point.
You had match point?
Yeah, it's kind of funny.
Against who?
Against Casey and Jake. So Phil and Nick beat us. Phil and Nick beat us pretty good. I think in 21-18, 21-18 for the first one. And then Jake and Casey, we went 3. We had match point, and Casey hit. So Hayden before the play goes, okay, ball dies inside, jump on it, angle. If it stays outside, go to the rim. He says, because we train at McKell's, we had trained me going high and dunking on the rim, and that's like swatting.
And you guys
shots.
still do that. Last time we filmed you.
Yeah, that's true. I did.
Yeah.
So he said, go up high, like, so I'm blocking the high line and he's going to sit in there for the angle. Ball comes, like, for me, it was like maybe in between, maybe like it didn't die inside, but maybe it was a little inside. So I'm like, okay, leave it and go high. So I'm just like sealing, making sure he hits at angle. Hits at angle, height and bails. So I turn like, yes. And he's gone, like, no, what? And he's like, what? It died inside. I'm like, it didn't die inside. And for Manhattan, like, this is a lifelong dream, And it was easy, like a low seam. He just hit it. And then, so like that thing sat in my mind for definitely the 2 years that I was out.
Was that the one where Casey ran to
he jumped in with
OB
Hobb and them.
and all those guys?
Yeah, it pissed me off so much.
We used that clip a bit.
Yeah, I know. I've seen it. Thanks. And so, yeah, like that's what like sat in my mind for all those years. Like, I might never get on the pier, and I could have just put my hand to the right 6 inches and I'd be on the pier. Anyway, and I also, after that, we gave up 2 points. I came in and high-lined it, and they ran a 4, which, like, of course they're going to run a 4.
I saw it. We don't have to relive it.
Yeah, anyway. But I was living in that. And then, so we fast forward, whatever, my first time getting on the pier, playing Casey on the right.
So how was that going into that your next final? Or, I mean, your next, yeah, your next final.
It was...
what was different? Because you didn't have John Hyden calling the shots.
I just felt like it was... it was just very present. It was like, you've been waiting for this one opportunity for so many years, and it's against an opponent that you're confident against. And it felt like my time, but I was like, but this is not earned. Like, you have to go out there and earn it. And then we went it went super late in I don't even remember if it was the second or third set.
I forget. I think it was
the second set, but it was going deuces, like overtime, I think. Because we had a few match points. And then, sure enough, Casey's coming in. I'm at the net. I'm like, you're not hitting low angle. And it's from the same side, pier side. So it's funny, like, I actually got on the pier by blocking that low seam angle. He's coming from the same side. I was on the south side. And I got it with the right hand.
That is epic.
It was kind of cool. In my own mind.
Just, come back and to do that. Like, just a side note, I think the year before, you were commentating 2 years before.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to ask Taylor this, but I'm too scared.
Oh my God.
But you know what I'm talking
swing?
about, right? That swing.
Yes.
Has that ever come up or anything?
No.
So for the people who don't,
not much.
It was against, Phil and Nick, Manhattan Beach Finals, second set. Taylor and Jake won the first, and Taylor was playing lights out.
Yep.
He gets a ball in transition, and he has a swing
I know the swing, I know the feeling, I know everything there, and he basically was like, I'm going to reach a little higher and go corner on it because it's Phil Dahlhauser blocking. Like, don't go super low. Smart swing, and he just, like, spatched it. It's not even a spatch, but, like, spatched it 2 feet longer than he thought he was hitting it.
Yeah, I thought he was going for high hands.
Yeah, or maybe it was high hand. Like, just playing it safe. This is either going to hit the corner or it's going to hit high hands and we can cover it, or high hands and out. Like, it's a good swing. But he didn't get hands, and then he hit it like 4 inches out or something, right?
Yeah, it was so close. I'm sorry that we've said that on this podcast. We've always that's hard to recover from. And then they ended up losing the third.
You got to know it's like in his head, especially because Trevor got on 3 times since then. Which, by the way, we had a stat. It was like Hawaiians have been in the finals of MBO. Like,
Riley and I haven't contributed to that stats, but
no, but like even back to Lambeau, Scott, Stein, some crazy amount. Damn it! How do I not remember that number? No, we've said it before on the show. I think we said it when Trev was on.
You just said something crazy, like Travis pre-recorded,
like 12 of 16 or something.
Just Travis's Siri.
I need the Joe Rogan guy in the back where I'm like, hey, look that up. See right there. There's the stat. Damn it.
Oh, that is pretty gnarly.
Maybe we'll have an intern out there that wants to be our behind the camera computer guy.
I got it. Yeah. If there's any interns that want to help us out in any way, please reach out.
Yeah, or the McKibbin brothers.
Yeah, we could definitely use that. But no, thank you for taking me down
Can double dip.
that road.
Yeah, good times. So what are you guys up to these days?
What are we up to these days?
There's been some physical division among the team, as we mentioned earlier.
Physical division. Oh, for us
How's
personally,
that explanation?
or other.
No, you're literally separated by the globe.
Us. I mean, for us or other teams?
You.
Us. So Riley has moved to Italy.
Right.
In Busio, I think the place is called, outside of Milan, with Carly and their daughter Storm, because Carly's playing professionally again. This is actually the first team that she's played for at the start of her professional career. And so she's back there. Riley's over there taking on more of a dad duty, taking care of Storm. And so I'm back here. And our other brother, Jameson, graduated from SC in May. And so he's kind of gotten the just trial by error, whatever it is, of working with us. So, filming all the AVP events, editing, just kind of learning as we go. And he's been absolutely phenomenal. I remember there was a video in Hermosa Beach where some young girl came up to him with a volleyball and asked him for his autograph, and Riley got it on film, which is kind of funny. So no, it's been Jameson and I, and we've just been adjusting and making things work and cranking out Wilson content, and doing some other stuff with YAK and a few other brands, and trying to keep the YouTube channel going. We have some new ideas for 2022, but I'm expecting a baby boy in a month.
Yeah, buddy.
So we got a lot of different things going on, but a lot of ideas in the background. But right now we're kind of focusing on creating, short form videos around the Wilson advisory staff. We made one of you that we filmed a while back.
Oh, I love.
And so we just kind of scrubbed through a bunch of the footage that we had. And we're able to, we're putting these kind of small pieces together.
Dude, the Wilson relationship as a whole, which, like, obviously it's the beach volleyball. So it's like the core sponsor of beach volleyball. But, like, for me to have them and then they're completely tied in with you guys, and I can just do, like, conversation like this kind of interviews where we're just messing around, and then you turned it into, like, by far the best content that I post in my opinion. Obviously everyone's going to watch highlights, which you gave me some of those too, but it's so good.
Oh, I mean, it's
just so fun.
It's fun. And I think what's fun about it is people are more at ease. Like, you don't get the PC answers. Like, you get, I think, more of a glimpse of who these players are. Like, dude, I've known you for a really long time, and I think there's a balance between, like, professional and then kind of letting loose, and like, exactly. Just kind of being who you are. And I think that makes players more relatable.
Yeah. I think most athletes err on the professional side. Like, we all do when we're, like, younger. It's like we go to college or high school, you get interviewed, you're like, oh, okay, I got to say the right thing. So we all need to, like, really, you actually have to make an effort to, like, bring your personality out and whatnot. And when the people behind the camera are, like, embracing that and trying to help you and ask questions in that way and laugh with you or whatever, it makes it so much easier.
And it just makes it more fun. It makes it more enjoyable. It's just
for the fans, especially.
I mean, I hope so. So that's, like, kind of our next phase with the Wilson content, is kind of rolling out these short form videos that we're kind of balancing between, tips that are specific to individual players, I would say.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
But
posted
also,
a few of them already?
What is that?
You posted a few of them already, right?
We posted a few of them, but right now we're going through a lot of them, because now it's funny. We actually had those interviews, and we used B-roll from last year, and when we were rolling it out, I'm like, this isn't really contemporary. It's stuff from last year. So, and there's only 3 tournaments, so I was like, we kind of scrapped that, and we're like, okay, let's start over and let's use stuff that's from this year. which I just think is just better. And it's only an Instagram reel, and we spend a bit of time on it.
Yeah.
But in the end, I think it's worth it. And I think the way that what's nice about the way that we film is that it would be one thing if we're only making Instagram content and IG reels, but we film horizontally so that all the B-roll can be used for reels or used for interview stuff for reels, or in the future can be used for YouTube videos and stuff like that. So it's nice to have. It's nice to be, for one, Wilson has been a partner of ours since day one. I mean, some people may or may not know, but like in 2017, Riley and I had made one video, and we went to them. We're like, "Hey, we're gonna start a YouTube channel," and they're like, "This was like the first sponsor we'd ever approached," and they're like, "Yeah, we'll sign you." And we showed them this video. I don't know if it's on our channel or not.
Before we even
had a channel, we told them we're gonna make a channel. This is what we're gonna do.
That's like unheard of that a company would do that, especially the company.
Yeah, I mean, it was we came in with a lot of enthusiasm, and we had every intention of doing it. And so they've been a partner with us since day one, and so I'm very thankful for them. I mean, you've worked with them. And
yeah. Well, you guys got me the intro actually.
Oh, we did?
Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
You were Riley. And it was when I was out. And so I signed a deal with them while I wasn't playing.
Oh, that's right.
Which was like the coolest thing for me because it was for the podcast.
And look how it turned out. Like they signed it 2 times.
And now, yeah.
And now, right,
yeah. I actually, in my contract or whatever, I was like, I want it to be incentive based. So, because I was like, I'm not playing. I get it. Like, why would you give me money for a player? But I like made it like I was still a player. And if I come back and I do this, then I get paid and whatnot. So it wasn't like a big deal. It was like podcast oriented. But if I come back and I get a top finishes, then I get paid as a player. So it was cool. It was like very incentivized to come back and actually perform.
No, for sure. But I think you probably learned through that time too, is that, I mean, the athletes in the sport are very important. The competition is extremely important, but also the people, and I'm not talking about ourselves in particular, but like the people who give context. Like you commentated for a while for the AVP when like it was just nothing. Right. And you're like, dude, I'm going to commentate. Yeah. And then you started a podcast.
Glazebrook shared a flight to New York.
I remember that. I remember that. You're like, dude,
I'll let you talk over it if you want.
And like Tri did it on his own, which like anyone, like that is not an easy task.
If they heard it, they could tell.
If you ever hear one person commentating, like for one, don't ever say anything rude or bad or like give them crap, because it's the hardest thing I think to do.
It's so much
you
harder
almost
than
have
you
a
think.
split personality. And so whoever does, I give props whoever does commentating on their
I was
own.
basically just podcasting and talking to myself for like hours and hours, which is like extremely draining.
We were like, hey, am I doing all right? I was sworn at all.
Exactly.
Like things under my breath. Like
I was winging it so hard. And then I went to Hollywood and took some classes, like hosting classes and stuff like that, which was super helpful. So like hosting, dude, I should show you the videos of that, because they put me on video sometimes to like practice.
Yeah.
And then they critiqued it. And there's like coaches. There's people that host like talk shows, and then one day you're practicing being like selling a product like on QVC or something. Like there's different, and then there's like red carpet interviews, and then there's like podcast style.
You have to show that, because
you've
always been good
and
at improv.
I was trying to like sell stuff. Well, I also took improv
you
classes.
You took improv at SC.
No, I didn't. I took improv after.
Didn't you take a class at SC? No.
No, I didn't.
You didn't?
No.
Even though you're dating Gabby, you never took one?
No. I would have loved to. I took the classes I did take. I'm like, oh my God, that stuff was terrible. Policy, planning, and development.
Oh
that was my major somehow. How did I fall into that?
You got it done. But
yeah, improv stuff was fun for me. My brain works decently in an improv manner. Which is why I'm really interested to see if I can act, because you're not improvising anymore.
Yeah.
There's parts of it where actors need to know how to improvise, but they're remembering scripts, and then they have to know what the person's history is, or there's all kinds of different tactics. But I'm like, I might be the worst actor of all time and pretty good improviser, but I'm not sure yet.
I think you're right. It's funny because how we've made like a bunch of different videos, and like we were making some stuff for Beach Volleyball World, and writing the scripts out and this stuff. I mean, just making YouTube videos in general. And like Riley is someone who like he wants the script written out. For me, like I want like bullet points so I can like just kind of riff. I mean, sometimes it wastes a bunch of time. Right. But like I can't say line by line and like make it natural.
If I'm doing line by line.
And especially if it's written by someone else, I'm like, wait, this doesn't sound like me. So it's definitely a hard thing to do. But I guess my question to you is like, you've gone through it because of an injury. Same with Riley. Same with me. I mean, as a professional athlete, being a beach volleyball player or any athlete, what advice would you give to them to, take that first step of, exploring something outside of the sport?
Right, yeah.
But still remaining in the sport. You know?
That's been something I've been thinking about a lot. And I say it a lot on the show.
Like, you do? Okay.
Well, I just try to mention a lot, like, you got to have an impact somehow off the court, because I learned it through experience where I was like, okay, I'm going to make the tour and I'm going to win a tournament, and then sponsors are going to hit me up, and then I'm going to have money, and I'm going to be doing well.
Well, I want to interject.
Yeah.
Because when Riley and I came on to tour and we were, in the qualifier, but we were doing all this crazy stuff, like, I remember you kind of told us, you're like, dude, you're not going to get sponsored unless you, like, win.
Right.
Like, what are you guys doing this stuff?
Right.
I was like, okay.
That was my path. And then they didn't come. I was like, so where's the sponsors? Granted, I did get a good one at a fairly young age with Mizuno. But then I realized, I was like, they're not really caring about what you do on the court. They're caring about how many people watch you, what your personal brand is, how you can tie your personal brand into their brand and ultimately selling their product. And so you have to build your own personal brand in order to do that. So, I mean, that's what it comes down to. Like, you look at NBA players, or like no one, there's probably not many guys in the NBA that have better sponsorship deals than Shaquille O'Neal. And he hasn't been playing for 10 years. Like, he's like, has all these things. His brand is just so strong. And, he's one of the best to ever do it. Him and like Magic and those guys. But I just think, especially in our sport, players tend to come in and just think it's going to be like an NBA where you sign a contract and you're wealthy and you made it. Like, no, you got to come into the sport, understand the business a little bit to whatever extent, and make your mark. Mm-hmm. And obviously playing, for me, like, the thing I hear LeBron James say all the time is like, keep the main thing the main thing. That for me is like, yes, absolutely. I have to keep volleyball the main thing, but there needs to be little branches off of that where I'm making an impact, and it has to be authentic. So like we talked about earlier, we tried little things here and there that just were dumb, weren't going to work. Your personality has to match well with whatever you're doing. So like, I don't think I could do this podcast without Travis, because there's certain guests, and like, he knows all the players that are playing everything. I know my group of players, and then I'm like, oh, I get to go learn about these other athletes. And Travis already knows about them and their stats, and like, and he knows how to carry a conversation really well and like transition. And then, doing the write-ups and all that. So like, I found a good partner. I found my own little niche, because I can bring the insights of volleyball plus the relationships to the show. So I found my thing, but I want other athletes to all be looking for their thing. Yeah. Whether it's podcast or social media or writing or something that you can like share yourself, your journey, your experience, or someone else's with the fans and the fan base.
Yeah.
Because the tour's not going to come out and just give you this great media. You know, they're not going to do what the NBA is doing where they like pick certain athletes. Like, you guys are our superstars this year, and we are going to promote you guys like you're gods.
I mean, this is probably a controversial thing, but I think our sport does need to pick a few people to.
Well, I'd like them to do it, but I don't want us to
focus on
to feel entitled to that anymore. Like, if it happens, great, but
if it happens, it's on your own accord. I think where most people they think that, oh, I need a bunch of followers to get sponsorship deals.
Yeah.
Or what we're seeing in the marketplace with beach volleyball players is you don't need the biggest following. You don't need to be like a caricature of yourself.
Right.
You don't need to be larger than life. That's also something that's not sustainable.
It's one route that works for some people.
It's one route that works for some people, right. But what I think the biggest thing is differentiation, and differentiation of what you're passionate about. You know, one example is Jeremy Casepier, who, for the record, I absolutely hated in high school and in college because we went to UCLA. Yeah. But we've become great friends, and you know, he was interested in sustainability like years ago, but he didn't know those steps, and he just started taking those incremental steps about reading up on articles, using LinkedIn, but finding what you're actually passionate about. Reading up on it. I mean, for the record, I think LinkedIn is a great thing for athletes in beach volleyball, and creating that side, because you're not going to post sustainability stuff on Instagram when people are following you for beach volleyball.
Right.
You can't make that, hey, I'm super interested in this subject. You guys should all be too.
Right, exactly.
So it's those platforms allow you to differentiate yourself and share what you're actually passionate about, connect with people and brands in that area. I mean, you'll have, chief marketing officers, CEOs on LinkedIn that if you follow them, don't just connect with these people randomly.
Right.
Follow them. You can comment on a post of theirs,
right.
In a genuine way, because I hate the word networking. It's just social climbing to me, but in a genuine way, and, start conversations with people in high up positions to start that relationship with a brand that you're actually interested in, and you're showing that you're interested in this kind of area.
I feel like Casey Pat's kind of mastered that. I don't know if he's a LinkedIn guy, which I really would like to be better at. I just like focus on Instas because I don't like doing all that stuff that much.
I mean,
so
it's
hard.
One,
but I agree. It's so cool that you can get in touch with brands and like.
Yeah.
But Casey almost is. He almost works for the companies that Casey is an ambassador for.
Casey is his own LinkedIn hub.
Right. Yeah.
Casey is a master of all trades. He is the best negotiator. He is the best salesman. He produces. He knows. He edits. He shoots. He has 5 children.
He can play.
He's play. Even though he can only jump about this side, and he'll admit it.
I called him out on one of our last posts. I was just saying it on the podcast, and then it ended up getting cut into a reel. I was like, "Oh, sorry, Casey, but
no, it doesn't.
You can't jump anymore." But I know he knows it.
I mean, he probably takes pride in it. He's like, "Well, I'm still
but I still sat out.
I'm still doing well."
That's true. Well, because you have a 7'2" wingspan, and great ball control. God damn it.
You're good.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not flatlining.
No, but he is. He's one of the best. I mean, like for Casey, I mean, I think you coming into the tour with Hayden, you were straight in, and you came in and it's like, all right, these are the guys I'm competing against.
Yeah,
they're enemies.
Yes.
Riley and I, on the other hand, we played it in the qualifier for like 3 or 4 straight years. And so when we made those main draws, like walking in and like seeing like Rosie, Phil, Nick, Casey, Jake, like awestruck the first time we ever did it. And so like to look at that and like consider these guys friends or acquaintances at different levels, obviously, is just kind of really cool. And we've had a great relationship with Casey. He's so much fun to work with, so much energy, but We've learned a lot from him. He's definitely been a big influence on what we've done. But it's just kind of cool I always say it to see the guys that you watch play, and you're like,
dude, that guy, like like what I was talking about earlier, there's your play on the court, and then there's the product that you're presenting, like, and the impact you're having, not just with what you're doing as a player. And he did that better than anyone, and it taught me a lot. And like I said, like I was friends with Casey from day one because when I went overseas to Puerto Rico, he was on my team. So that was my first professional.
Were you stoked about that? And what year was it?
I mean, I was stoked, and I talked to Nygaard. I remember he's like, "Oh, Casey Patterson, yeah, he's an interesting guy." I think that's what Nygaard was.
But that's coming from Nygaard.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Complete
I don't know.
Polar
I was
opposites.
like, I don't know what to expect, but I'm playing with Casey Patterson in Puerto Rico. I'm there. He shows up a few days later, comes to practice. I'm like, still laying low because I'm the new guy on a team in a Puerto Rican league, so only guy that's not Puerto Rican on the team. And Casey comes in the gym like he owns the place, dude. Just, what's up, player? Come over here. Let's go. Send me a 2-ball. Like, I'm still putting my shoes on. He's out there bouncing 2 balls. And, like, I don't even know if we're warming up yet. In this gym in Puerto Rico where there's, like, pigeons inside. It's, like, outdoor air, like, some moisture on the ground. And he's just loving life. Like, he was so happy to be playing volleyball and just bouncing balls in the gym. I was just like, oh, this guy is different. And then obviously, we're boys on the team. I was just kind of trying to figure out how to play professionally. He had already won an AVP or no, a few at that point. I forget what point in his career that was. He hadn't hit his peak yet, which was with Jake. But he had already won AVPs and was like a well-established player. So I was just like watching him, and he was just playing to the crowd. He was so amped up. I think he was just taking scoops of C4 to the face. His eyes are just gonna pop out of his head, and like you could tell the only thing he wanted to do was entertain the fans. It was opposite of me because I'm like, okay, like feel my team out. What do they need? What can I do here? Don't make errors. Which was my style as like a OH2, which just I learned.
Come in hard angle,
chizzy line.
Did the Puerto Ricans ever figure it out?
No one figured it out.
No one figured it out.
Chizzy line. But they didn't like it. The fans didn't like it. My team was like always happy because I'm passing good, covering balls, doing like the small things that I think make a big difference. Fans are like, let's get this guy out of here. Like he didn't bounce 1 ball today. I'm like, bro, I hit 450 and freaking passed half the court. Covered your boys a few times.
Oh,
Casey Yahtseeing balls in, out. Like, he was good. He was really good.
Dude, we got to find that footage.
Oh, my God.
Do you have that?
He Yahtzee a ball and just walk straight to the fans. Where we all come in the huddle. And Casey just, But then I learned. And then I played against him on the beach. And we were in the thick of it. Like, Olympic qualifying. It's me and John versus Casey and Jake for the most part. And Casey, he's the worst at turning it on and off the court. Like sore loser. He gets so pissed when he loses. He didn't want to shake hands. He didn't want to do anything. So it was like that for like 2 years where we like on world tour, but we wouldn't eat dinner together. It's like quiet, like, oh, what's up, player? Stuff like that.
What's up, player? Yeah.
And we're younger and just like couldn't separate like the fact that we just wanted to qualify for the Olympics against each other. So I was like, God, I hate him so much. It was always respectful, and we always knew we had a good relationship.
It was also so close.
Yeah, it was so close.
That race came down to that.
Okay, and he's better than like him and Jake were playing better than us, and they were a little less consistent, but they were better, and I just didn't want to accept that. And then you have this guy out there that's battling you, but he's freaking dancing while he's doing it and talking to you, and then popping, locking, and like, haha, yeah, player, and just going to fans.
So that got to you.
And then he got wild cards, and I'm like, he shouldn't be,
He deserves wild cards.
And then the announcer would be like, who's cheering for Try and John? And be like, yeah. Who's cheering for Casey and Jay? Like, God damn it. And he's like, yeah, baby. He's just dancing for him and having fun. I'm like, And then I was like, eventually I'm just like, I can sit here and be salty about it, or I can just learn. Like, this guy's embracing the fans. Like, I kind of was always like, be in my zone and be focused on volleyball. Don't let anything external get in. And I'm like, wait, he's letting the fans in on the experience and bringing them in on it with him. And he got like wild cards. Like, Hannes was giving him wild cards to events that were very important and was affecting the Olympic race. And I was like, I need to learn from this guy because he's got something. So since then, I've been like, okay, embrace the fans. I'm not going to dance because that's not authentic. And it would be ugly.
Yeah, I don't know what dance moves.
I don't know. We'll see, maybe. If I need to. But like, that's when I learned like how much he's actually impacting the sport, and like I need to learn from the guy, not like, and obviously we kind of learned how to put the, on the court, off the court, separate that a little better. Yeah. Over the years. And I just think he's done such a good job of it. He just lives and breathes it.
I think you bring up a good point. Quick side note, I think Casey retiring and moving on to pickleball with his entertainment value and
we
status.
Need to talk to this. We need to talk about this.
I'm going to make a prediction the next 2 years. He's actually going to be a major player in pickleball. Just by what he's brought to beach volleyball.
Right.
Like, he's going to bring that to
pickleball. I bet these pickleball players are like at that early stages of their mind being blown. Like, what is this guy doing? He's getting in my head.
They're try 2014.
He's having so much fun.
Exactly.
And so the opponents are all like, I hate this. And the brands and pickleball itself are like, this guy. Yeah. We love this guy.
Well, I know you guys talk a lot about like the future of our sport and what's wrong. Like, at the end of the day, it's an entertainment product.
Yes.
It is an entertainment product. It's a competitive product.
Yep.
But there's, I think, too much emphasis on that. And I'm not talking about every player being a Casey Patterson. That's just not possible.
Yeah, no.
But it has to be looked at as an entertainment product, and how can we make it more entertaining, more engaging. And that's not on just the players to do that. Right. We've seen Lotman and Partain, changing up their offenses fast over on two. It makes it more entertaining. I'm not saying you have to change the way that you play, but
they're doing it pure, like their entertainment value at the moment is purely through their play.
Yes.
And there's really nothing beyond that.
I think it can be. I think it can be developed. We talked to a bunch of, I'll just say it, old school volleyball players, because they got a Facebook group on it.
Oh, gosh.
And last time I looked, they said we're not allowing any volleyball talk post 2000.
Oh God.
I was like, wow, trying to bring volleyball together, and we're just excluding that. But there's always this conversation about like, but we had the personalities, we had the people that went off, we had all of this, and like, we don't have that anymore. And it's like, okay, we need to face the facts. Like, we don't have Hovland, we don't have Stoklos, and all these guys that are just, not crazy, but they're very entertaining.
Right.
You can't expect that from the players, and so I think it needs to come from other areas. And we look at other sports, and it's context.
We have some of it. But we don't have the platform that they had either, because they had the Miller Lite Tour. They had prime time. Like, the platform was there. It is different. Like, they did it in a much different way.
I think where I come from is there's not a lot of, and it's no fault of AVP or anything else, but there's not a lot of content, just shoulder content. Because we're not on ESPN, we don't cover it in SportsCenter.
And if we had the big, massive sponsors that are putting us in commercials, now that's part of your personal brand.
Like, it comes with viewership, right?
Right, 100%.
And so, the AVP had Amazon, and that was great. But obviously, Amazon was testing out sports,
right.
And then they go, "Okay, cool, AVP." And I don't know how this went down,
right?
But it seemed like, okay, cool, AVP. We're going to go buy Thursday Night Football.
Right.
And now we're going to have 4 different live streams for Thursday Night Football, depending on
right.
What do you want to watch.
For one game.
And it's kind of incredible. And so I think, but what Amazon did do is that, they had that booth with the commentators and announcers. I think you got a little bit more of that shoulder programming, like the context, what happened.
Yes.
there's a lot of
The booth
drama.
after was amazing.
The booth
that
after
was
was
the best
amazing.
part of it, I think.
The thing is that there's so much drama in our sport.
Yeah.
And some of it's covered, some of it's not. Riley and I can't really like go down that path of being like not instigator, but like bring to light.
Well,
like
we need a TMZ of
hey,
volleyball.
exactly. Like
Also,
like,
okay.
hey,
So
what?
if
what
anyone
went wrong?
out there knows someone who's willing to be that guy, like I want Travis to be that guy, but he's not. He connects with everyone. He's got to be on good terms.
He's in the same position as us.
We need an instigator.
He has access to the players. He has a great relationship with the players. You can't
burn him.
You can't burn it, even though it's like
we need someone going court to court.
There's some backstories here,
trying to get any of the.
And it's not to be like a those magazines or like headline sort of stuff, but it's drama is intriguing.
They leak these things to the ESPNs. They leak them. And then ESPN picks it up, and then it becomes these national stories and whatnot, like Kyrie Irving right now.
Yeah.
It's like the things he's done and said are...
It's just, yeah, but I mean, there's a lot of hurdles to that too. You know, like we talk about the drama between partners and this and that, but with our sport, as you know, like you can't talk smack on your former partner or why you broke up with them because of this and that, because as we've seen... one of the best collegiate teams in, NCAA history, Kelly Clays and Sarah Hughes, who are one of the best teams coming out of college, competing against top teams. They broke up.
Right.
And, if it was covered and there was drama and maybe some things said that they regret, maybe, 5 years from now, they wouldn't have teamed up again.
Right.
So our sport is interesting. It's like, I kind of can't reveal too much. But for the fans, that's where we get a fringe
and
fan.
the rivalries and stuff. Like for someone to dig in on the rivalries and like these two, like this, Lotman. When every time we play him, there's something like saying under his breath, or him and Trevor, like I'm gonna smack you in the face, like shit like that.
There's a lot.
The brotherly rivalry, like digging into that. And it's funny that I'm not asking for it. Because if that were to happen and something negative comes out about me, they're going to be like, oh, you asked for it. Why did I ask for this? But I think it'd be cool. There's
definitely a middle ground. And I think it's, I don't know if the players will ever get around to it, but like if they just know, hey, this is for the greater good.
Right. Well, or it just doesn't matter. That you got to be.
Well, I'm not. I can't.
We're not going to be that guy.
I can't be that guy.
No, we're not.
I can't be that guy. When we like film athletes, video wise, like we did Media Day in 2020 and did it again in 2022. We're like, hey, for the record, we're editing this.
Right.
No one else is going to see it. Like,
we won't make you look bad.
You're good.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying we would never blackmail anyone, but like, let's put that one to the side.
Imagine if there's just some girl out there that just did not care. Or just walk around with the camera and be like, hey, I heard you did this or that. What's up with that? Just tried to get dirt on everybody.
If you could mix someone like that with Travis.
Right. With the journalism background, yeah.
Then I think it would be phenomenal for our sport. Yeah. I mean,
if you're out there, contact us.
Yeah. I just remember the PLL started, I think right before COVID, which is the Premier Lacrosse League by the Rabble brothers, and I don't know anything about lacrosse, anything about these guys, but I heard the brother Paul Rabble, he's like, we're a media company first and a sports league second, and I was like, wow, I had never heard that
to come from the top.
Yeah, and I mean, if you look at every single professional, there haven't been new professional sports that have made it to, broadcast television, but outside of the off, I guess the side shoot kind of like 3-on-3 basketball or just kind of variations of professional sports, like that is one professional sport that has gone from, not doing very well at all to, a deal with NBC to reaching, pretty high audience and viewership from kind of the bottom up.
Yeah.
And so that's like a league that I kind of follow on the media side, and I think what they're doing is pretty incredible. They just signed a deal with ESPN, which is like, I've talked to a few, sports journalists, and it's like, dude, if you're on ESPN, you're in a good spot.
Right, because they can pick up whoever they want. And you have to bring a certain amount of value for them to even consider you.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Dude, that stuff's crazy. And, I mean, I wonder if, like, even the NFL or any of those big successful entities would say the same thing. Like, we are a media company. Like, they are mega media product. Because you go to a football game live, it's not great. You definitely have a better experience on TV in terms of, like, you're seeing replays, stuff's up close, you're being entertained by the announcers in between plays, and then football, you're like, wait, really? We just sat here for 5 minutes in the middle of, like, the quarter? Like, it's not even the end of the quarter, but there's nothing going on. But you're like, oh, this is a commercial.
Yeah.
But we're just standing there as fans, and there's nothing going on. This is terrible. And I'm, like, excited to be at an NFL game, but really I'm just sitting here and watching football every, a fourth of the time, not even.
Yeah. What is it, like 15 minutes of action in 3 hours?
Olympic ceremonies.
But it's also an experience. And I think this is a rabbit hole that I've gone down too many times of comparing beach volleyball to other sports.
Yeah, right.
And, when you compare football, basketball, baseball, you have, obviously regional fandom. Right? If you're from that state, you love that team or that city.
Yeah.
Generational fandom. Like, my dad was a fan of this.
Right.
And that's when it comes to sport teams. And then you have individual fandom, right? Like, I'm a fan of LeBron, so wherever he goes, I'm a fan of him. And so, when it comes to beach volleyball, and we look at it, like, we need to treat it as an individual sport because, like, I don't know of a single two-person sport. And you can't take doubles tennis and compare it to singles tennis and say it's uncomparable.
It wouldn't exist without singles.
It wouldn't exist. And so, like, our sport, like, we need to treat it as a individual sport. And so, so if you look at it from that perspective, it's not necessary. We need to highlight, certain players' performances based upon stats. Like, team hitting percentage, those sort of stats can be used, but identifying individuals' performances and who's best at what and why and, this sort of things, I think, like I said, totally. This is a rabbit hole with a bunch of different holes. So
I love it.
It's
super fascinating.
I think it's I don't know. I think we've been around this sport for so long. There's been a lot of other people who have been around it for longer, and there's definitely been a massive shift in media because you talked about NBC and prime ticket, back in the 80s. I was just looking into it, and in, like, 95 was when I think NBC had, like, 21 hours of full coverage of 10 events, and I was looking into it because that's when Wilson joined the AVP. In 1996, and don't quote me on this, 1998 is when kind of bankruptcy or they had their issues and whatnot. But, like, that was broadcast television. Now we're into broadcast plus everything else.
Right.
And so
streaming.
There needs to be there's just so many more different distribution models.
Yeah. We need to find our niche.
Yeah, and so that's why coming back to, short form content. And we talked about those interviews that we did with you and the highlight stuff.
Yeah.
And, short form content is where it's at. It's not the most fulfilling thing to make.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to keep making highlight reels because
I appreciate it.
It's good. It's great. If I was still playing, I'd want them for myself, and they are good. And that's just one way of how can you get a fringe sports fan interested in the athletic ability of a beach volleyball player.
Right.
That's why we went with that. And then moving forward is let's go a little bit more characterization. That's why with your video, side switching, like, we're laughing, we're asking questions, we're just throwing stuff in the back. And
people that don't know volleyball might be like, I wonder how like, is this guy the joke of the tour? They're like,
Yeah,
how low is this guy ranked?
Yeah, but it's entertaining, and for me, I loved it because it was you. It was you from high school. And it's like, this is the try I know.
Exactly.
And so there's many more.
Yeah, that's why I love it too, because I think the more like you give me an opportunity to really like show myself, the more like comfortable I become. Just like all I have to do is go out there and be me, because I'm not putting on this facade of like trying to be this something that I'm not.
Yeah.
And you guys help me with that by like.
And it's hard to do it on your own.
Me, and you guys know me better than anyone.
Yeah.
You know my ridiculousness, so it's.
And it's hard. It's hard to like pull your phone out and do an Instagram story.
It's so hard.
Of like, hey, try born here. This is my morning routine. Like
my motto
I hate.
Is...
like
no, totally.
You have to have a lot of confidence, a lot of goose, a lot of drive to do stuff like that.
It takes time. Yeah.
It's an investment. It's
sure.
a lot, and so that's why I'm stoked that Wilson has allowed us to kind of take this idea and strategy and develop it over the next year.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Sorry
about that rabbit hole.
No, I love it. I'm actually.
Can I refill?
Yeah, let's refill. I want to take it back actually to when I heard about. It's so interesting that you talked about that perspective of the fandoms or whatever you called it, like the regional fandom.
Yeah.
Where you're from that region versus. What was the other one, like where your father maybe was a fan or something like that?
Yeah. So
generational.
Yeah, generational
which,
fandom.
Like, we can't have that because, like, my dad was a huge fan of Karch Karai. Well, unless Karch's son's playing, you can't pass that on. And then regional, we don't have that. We don't use that as much. And that's something I've always wanted. I don't know if it's realistic, but because I'm very Hawaii proud, but like, what if you had each player like the World Tour does, the World Surf League does. Each surfer is an individual brand, like 100%. They got their own sponsors. They're competing for themselves against their own country, but they always have their flag on their shoulder. Every time next to their name, there's their country.
Okay,
and the tour doesn't really.
But question to you.
Yeah.
Who are your 3 favorite surfers on WSL?
The Hawaiians.
The Hawaiians.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I like.
But how many?
Yeah,
how many different?
Hawaiians for the most part.
Okay. No, that's. I think it's fine. I mean,
because I'm a regional fan. I bought in.
I think to explore those different areas, I think are important. I mean, when we went to Phoenix, you had Betsy Flint and Sarah Sponsel. Like the crowd went wild.
Yeah.
They went absolutely wild. LSU, Cloth and Nuss, it went wild. But like, I don't think that's something to like prioritize or focus on per se. I think we need to focus on, where the younger demographic is going is obviously is individual players.
Yeah. I can agree with that. Like NBA wise, everyone knows I'm a Vikings fan. I'm going to stick with whoever's on the Vikings. NBA, I don't have a team. So I just float. I don't know. I don't really care who wins this year, but I like this guy. I like these guys. And that's that individual thing.
No,
like, I'm fully an individual NBA fan. I like, the team, like, how can you not like the Warriors? Everyone likes the Warriors because it's a really good meshing team with a Curry who's, undersized and amazing and whatnot. But
I mean, just talking about other sports and why you're fans, like, you like the Vikings because of they're doing
my
well.
Mom's from Minnesota. That's why.
And generational fandom. And you've been through highs and lows.
Oh yeah.
Are they 7?
Don't jump on our bandwagon.
Are they
7-1? 7-1. I'm not getting too excited. Our defense is. We've had a lot of close games that we've closed out. So I'm not claiming Super Bowl, even though someone in my family may have put a Super Bowl bet down already. But yeah, just don't try to jump on our bandwagon now. It's too late, you guys.
So okay, I have a question for you, Troy. If in football, if a guy rushes for 100 yards, is that good or bad? Or
that's good.
Is that pretty unreal?
That's really good.
If a guy shoots 35% from 3-point line in the NBA, is that good or bad?
I think it's good. Yeah.
It's good.
I don't think it's. Yeah, I think it's good. It's not crazy.
Do you know what a good digs per set is in beach volleyball?
I want to say. No, I don't.
You don't.
5?
It's around there.
You know what? What shocked me was blocks.
Blocks
Per set.
Blocks per set. What's
2 is like amazing.
2,
I think only Phil's been the only guy I've seen in 2.
Two's been amazing.
Right?
2's been amazing.
Yeah.
And I only bring up that point because we were talking about other sports, shoulder context, like when the freeze was implemented for the AVP, I was a fan of it.
Right.
I've won games and I've lost games by it, but we talked about an entertainment product.
Yeah.
It made a 14-9 match, that you would probably walk away from and go to another thing.
True.
The most memorable match of the tournament.
Yeah.
Right? And so I was a fan of it, but we've gotten rid of it since this past year.
Right.
And now, but that rule kind of skewed the stats for the AVP for a while. And I think stats are very important, not just number wise, but like they are an entry point to storytelling. Like, I need to go through it a little bit more, but to know, who's had the most blocks per set or per match or what is a phenomenal performance or who is the leaderboard.
You know what I would like is blocks per attempt. Because when I'm split blocking, I can't win the max number of blocks. But I'd like to see who's the best blocks per attempt.
I keep you and Trevor out of the spreadsheet I have because you are the split blocking team.
Right, yeah.
But there's times where you guys, well, not necessarily Trevor, but even though you're split blocking, you're high up in the blocks per set.
Right. Oh, I'll take.
But
that. But I'll never get credit for that. Not that. I'm not trying to, but
no, you won't.
When you're looking at yourself on the block list, you're not even top 5 or 6. I'm like, come on now.
That's from the player's perspective. From the outside perspective, it's like, you need to keep it all in context. Like, why did this team win a match? Like, I can look at a box score of a game, and objectively kind of tell you what went wrong, what happened.
Right.
Versus watching a game, be like, oh, I think, Tribe played pretty well. I remember I was watching a match because I was sick at the time. It was Manhattan Beach. And, you were getting served all the balls and you were hitting like 600. And Trevor got 2 serves and he was hitting 100 or something like that. I'm like, wait, what's happening? What's going on?
What's the story?
But looking at a box score, you can understand that. And so I think, more of an emphasis on stats and presenting them to the public and showcasing amazing performances based upon that is huge. We have a video of Try talking about, getting an ace, what's going through your head on the next ball. And you have an absolute great answer, but going through all the footage that we had, we couldn't find a single time where you had an ace and then you hit the next ball out. And that's not really stats per se.
I remember that more when I was younger because I remember the confidence I got. It was like, I just got an ace.
Oh,
now
everyone.
I'm gonna bomb this thing.
Younger, but still.
But that's not a thing anymore for me.
Yeah.
I'm like, do the same thing. Don't try to do more than what got you that first ace.
We even went through the stats on the world tour for the men's. And what was crazy was that some of the teams and individuals that were getting the most aces per set were also had the lowest errors to aces ratio.
Say it again? Sorry.
I know. This is where it gets confusing. I'm sorry I'm digging into this, but we were looking at some teams that had the highest aces per set ratio. Now, if you have the highest, you usually have the highest errors to aces ratio.
K-Spear usually has the highest
K-Spear, I love you. You get a lot of aces, but your errors to aces ratio is very high.
Hey, I've heard that the indoor coaches over the years have changed what they want in terms of ace to ratio, what's okay, right?
Exactly.
And it's pretty high.
And
errors.
I think indoor it's you want 1 ace for every 3 errors or something like that.
Yeah,
I don't know. Yeah. I don't really know what it is at this point. But there's trends, and you can see these sort of things of like why teams win matches, and I think it's like I said, it's just an entry point for storytelling, but it's context around a sport.
Yeah.
And so that's something that we're exploring. We have a bunch of ideas written on our blackboard.
I love your guys.
Chalkboard, blackboard.
Brainstorm sessions. We've had a few.
Oh, man.
We even had one here before this house was built, fully built. Remember you brought the board over? We had all the Hawaiians here.
Oh, yeah. Well, because I knew
session.
just it was me, you, Trevor, Taylor, Riley, right?
Yep.
And I was like, I know we're just going to talk in circles, so I'm going to write these things down.
Yeah.
I'm going to
Take a picture.
I forget what we talked about, but...
Yeah. I love it, though. You got to have these... you got to have those brainstorm sessions. And, like, 1 out of every, 15 maybe works. But you got to go for it.
No, I totally agree.
I agree, though. Statistics through storytelling. And there must be, hundreds of people working for these other, entities, NBA, NFL, trying to get these... I cannot believe the things that come out of these announcers' mouth. Like, did you know that was his 300th whatever error while he was chewing sunflower seeds?
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah.
There must be people just studying these facts.
But that's what,
and they're great. They're great stats.
That's what, intrigues me into the NBA or the NFL. Like, Jameis Winston was for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I was like, oh, he had more interceptions than touchdowns.
Right. Well, because you look at his yards, and he's leading the league in yards. You're like, how is this guy not the best? And then you're like, oh, interception. He just hucks it.
He's taking some gambles.
Yeah, he's taking some gambles.
But I mean, and I'm not saying this is for the entire public, but I think using that is a way to, I think, intrigue people into a sport like beach volleyball. It's not the answer by far and away. There is no easy answer to our sport. I think there's a lot of different things that can be, I don't want to say improved upon, just explored.
We got to find our place. Beach volleyball needs to find its place in this day and age, and the way that media is and businesses run today. And I just feel like we haven't really found our place in mainstream quite yet. So hopefully it happens while I'm in these next few years, while I'm hopefully at the top.
Well, I mean, speaking of which, going on to international volleyball.
Yeah.
We have Olympic qualification coming up.
Yes.
Beach volleyball world, there's no limit to the amount of teams per country that can enter these tournaments. Right?
Right, which is, thank God. Just say that.
So
I hate country quotas.
I mean, this upcoming tournament, I don't know when this is airing, but this upcoming tournament in Brazil, I think there's 6 or 8 Brazilian women's teams.
Yeah. The Olympic country quota is still in place, by the way. Just throw that out there.
The Olympic country quota is still in place.
Yeah, there's still only 2 teams can qualify per country. But for the World Tour, yeah.
So when it comes to, we don't have to talk about Olympic qualification, but the way that beach volleyball world is set up, it's your best 3 out of your last 4 tournaments. Is that staying the same this year? Or
I don't know.
Can you comment on that?
No? I think the players are trying to get them to change it, or there's been discussions about them changing that. There's so much volatility right now, which I don't know.
Well, that is one of the most ruthless.
It's been negative for a lot of people and really positive for other people. So whether it's good or bad, I don't know. And if they keep it the same, I just need to shut up, suck it up, and go play in that system. Why complain about it? It's hurt me because I didn't play. I didn't schedule my year out right with that kind of tournament. Whatever, learned it. But it's crazy. Chile's number 3 in the world right now, and there's these random teams that are up there and great teams that are deep, and you're like, did they fall off, or did they choose the wrong tournaments, or it's just so much volatility. One team moved up 58 spots this week. It's like that's literally, I'm looking at the rankings every day, and I think, was it Benesh and
Miles
Andy and Miles, they won. Obviously he's adding finishes, but they moved up 58 spots in one tournament.
Really?
And then Qatar was back for a while. And then they jumped another 10 spots up.
Yeah.
And they're playing and other teams aren't. It's just, I don't know. It's volatile, but I think it could change. No. Maybe back to 4 to 6.
4 to 6.
Something like that.
Yeah.
It used to be 6 of 8.
Yeah, I think extending that would be a little bit better. I'm actually a fan. I mean, not taking into account prize money, traveling, and all that stuff. Like, and you can tell me more because of how the WSL has played out.
Yeah.
But what the WSL did this year, and they had their elite, level, and then halfway through the season, they had a cut, and there was a second round. Mm-hmm. And so those guys are cut. The elite level is down to a few surfers. Yeah. And there's that second round. They're all competing for that to get bumped up to the elite level next year. But with FIVB, it's kind of like,
well, what are you playing? What do you do? Too many events. Like, you don't have everyone going against each other every week. WSL, all the top surfers on this championship tour, the CT, are surfing against each other in these 12 events throughout the year. You know what they are. There's qualifying series going on, and people can go surfing that if they want. But they're all going to be at the top CT events. There's some wild cards given. So by halfway through the year, it's a legitimate, this is legitimately the top half of the tour. Whereas on our tour, it could be these people chose to go way over there on that side of the planet and go play in this thing to get so much points that they jumped this team that's probably better but didn't choose to go fly across the planet and play for basically no money just to get these points. And you have teams doing that all over the place. Like right now, all these teams are playing. A lot of the top teams aren't playing, and they're just sinking in the rankings while random teams go to Cairo, Egypt, and the top team or whoever is just like, I don't want to pay $2,000 to fly to Cairo, Egypt during what could be an off season and, not make prize money and just literally go there for points because there's no one else playing.
And I think
it's just all over the place.
For the record, for a unbiased opinion here, because I know Travis is actually playing on the world tour and traveling and doing all this stuff.
He's going to Cairo.
He's going.
He just came back from Cape Town.
Try does make a very good point.
Wait, let me tell you. Travis went to South Africa because he said, I can't lose. If I lose in the last round of the qualifier or make main draw, I'm moving up drastically in the world ranking. So I can just show up and lose, and I'm moving up like crazy. So he literally went there knowing he could lose, didn't matter. And he moved up in the world ranking.
And so from an unbiased perspective, not only are these guys competing to have points leading up to the Olympics, just trying to compete, it's a whole chess match.
Yes.
Of who's going where, what's doing what. To be honest, the last 3 tournaments in the Maldives and Qatar in the Middle East, those were extremely weak tournaments compared to the challenge events that were earlier on in the
mid-season,
year. If you wanted to score points, you go there, you get those. So it's frustrating.
I should have skipped mid-season. I should have taken a mid-season break
no one knew.
And grinded right now.
No one knew.
Exactly.
No one knew. And it's just you're putting, all your effort into training, practicing, recovery, and it's just there's a few tournaments that no one's going to go.
Scheduling,
yeah.
Right? It's not like this head-to-head mano-a-mano battle. It's we went to this event, and then they pulled it out of that event, and then I flew further across the world that you didn't want to fly across the world, so I got these points over here. And I didn't want to play the game this year. I maybe had a bad attitude about it. I'm not playing that game. I'm going to focus on AVP. I'm going to go world tour, play what I need to. And we sucked, and it bit us in the ass, and we scheduled it wrong. We didn't play that good when we did play. So now I'm okay, next year, play the game, try. You got to play chess. If that's what the game is, don't play checkers.
But it's also tough too when, it's you have to there's, as you've told me and most people know, federations have different amounts of money that they can, allocate to their teams.
Right.
So there is a little bit of an unfair advantage when it comes to
we do very well.
We're-
USA volleyball.
we're
very
in the
supportive.
upper
Yeah.
echelon.
Yeah.
When you map out some of these tournaments, though, a lot of them are in Europe or near Europe, so traveling costs are a little bit lower.
Right.
Stuff like that. I'm not saying that it has to be equal along all means, but I think the challenge in the Elite 16 events, I like how it is, and I kind of like the drama
I
of
think
it.
challenge is too heavily. Too many points for challengers.
There's something there. I think 3 out of 4 is ruthless.
Yeah.
It's very tough because then you do have people picking and choosing what they want to play and what they shouldn't play in.
Yeah.
Where you have other people holding on to stuff. Where you have other
Right.
people who are like, I got nothing to lose.
Yes.
We'll plan in everything.
Yep.
And then get a bunch of points. So it's just like it's hard. It's hard to follow. It's hard to keep track of. There's a lot of drama. There's a lot of highs. There's a lot of lows.
That's the biggest problem. Is it's at the end of the day, what do we say this is? It's an entertainment entity, and the fans listening to us talk right now are like, "What?
It's
like this isn't entertaining. I don't want to follow. I don't want to figure this out.
Well,
just let me follow the sport and figure out what's going on."
You just kind of need people to kind of fill in those gaps. So going back to the WSL, and that they have their first phase and then cutoffs.
Yes.
It's very black or white.
Right.
Are you more of a fan of that? And on top of that, this is another side question. As a fan, do you think it's more important for a sport to have Cinderella stories in that anyone's got a chance to win this?
Right.
Or developing rivalries?
Well, first of all, I, as a fan of WSL, didn't gain any entertainment value by them making the cut.
You didn't?
No.
Like
it
when
wasn't like this
when it came down to it, like the last few events, because I didn't watch it at all.
Well, it would have been the same case. It would have come down to it anyway. I guess you had more head-to-head matchups where lower seeds can't take out top seeds, right? But I didn't.
In the last few was like, hey, this guy needs this points or else he gets relegated.
Oh, that's the cool part.
Yeah, so that there's not only a competition all the way at the top,
right,
but there's a competition at the bottom. Same with international indoor volleyball. Okay.
So I'm
this promotion and relegation.
Right? Yeah. Ezekiel Lau is a Hawaiian. He's like our second best surfer. John's the best for the men, and he was right on that cut. So I was following the cut, and I was really bummed when he got cut. I was like, oh, that's kind of lame. Like Zeke's
okay, but you were following it,
killing it, but he actually had a bad start to the season, and I'm like, okay, I know he can like kick it into gear, but now he's off tour. I was like, oh, that's kind of lame. And then I kept following it. I was like, oh, this is fun, but like,
how's the second tier
like to have
tour?
Those guys are now they just shift all their focus to the qualifying series.
And do you watch that?
I don't watch it, but I'll look at the results.
At the stats.
I won't watch it.
At the results.
Yeah.
Which is still fine.
Top one, I watch. It's
gotcha.
on, I'm watching it. Other ones, I'm like, oh, sick, Zeke won. Like, he started killing it over there. And I'm, like, happy for him, but it's like, I don't really care about the qualifying series.
Gotcha.
To be honest. But it's interesting to see the rank because, they're fighting for their lives. Like,
yeah.
Your whole goal as a server is to make the CT.
Yeah.
Which is why I thought it would be cool when they did this Elite 16 thing, because originally it was going to be very hard to tap into it. Like, once you're in the Elite 16, you're in there, and then some teams get relegated because the top of the Challengers series will relegate the bottom 4 or something of the 16. So there's that interesting relegation. You're like, who's going to get up? Who's going to go down? Whereas now it's like, anyone can jump. You can be in a bronze medal in a challenger that has no one in it, and you just jumped to like top 10 in the world or something. And it's like, this is just too much. Like, you shouldn't go on a hot streak. You should. At one point, Sweden had never played an Elite 16 ever. They'd never played at a top level because they were young. They'd never played a top level event yet, and they were like a top 5-8 team in the world without ever playing at the top. That should be impossible.
Yeah.
Because they were dominating challengers. Yeah. It was at one point in the year. They hadn't gotten into a 16 yet. I think it was early on, but they were already ranked. whatever.
Yeah.
That should not be the case. If you dominate the qualifying series on the WSL, you slide into the back of the challenger. Now you're at the back of the championship series, and you got to work your way up from there.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be you were the top in the qualifying series, and now you're the top 3 in the championship series.
Yeah.
So that's I think the idea was Elite 16. Now we can go to promoters. We can bring this tour around the world with the top 16 teams in the world, and we can present our circus, our entertainment product to all these markets.
Mm-hmm.
We've never really even brought the top 16 teams, because like some of them are relegated.
Yeah.
For not enough reason, they're not really at number 17 in the world. Like they're really 10 in the world, but the ranking switched so fast that them having 2 bad weeks slid them so far out that they're out of the entertainment product. When the world really we wanted to watch those guys, and it's not like they're retired or washed up. They just had bad 2 weeks, and now we don't get to watch them anymore.
No, I agree.
This random kids that are in the Cinderella, or what do you call it?
Cinderella story, yeah.
Or Cinderella story, or that honeymoon phase of their career where they just got hot real quick. Now they're in
yeah.
I don't know.
It's something to think about, and I think it's something to address. I mean, I think the way that Beach Volleyball World set it up, I think was great. The scheduling of challenge events and Elite 16 events just made it difficult for people to move up and move down. But also, I mean, how come Travis was able to make it into Cape Town? How come the top teams didn't go to Cape Town?
Well,
because that was the first Elite 16 event in 2-3 months.
Yeah, but so prize monies we have already established is you're not going to make a huge living off of it. So if you have a one-off event that's 2 months out from another event, you're having to train for 2 months.
Gotcha.
Ideally, you're getting paid for that time. If you have multiple events in that time, you play 4 events and train for 2 months is different than and have that opportunity to make money. So it's okay, you guys want to stay in shape at the end of season for 2 more months and then go play in this event that is literally on the other side of the world from where we're at, and it's going to cost you about what do you win? You win $8,000. You win $4,000 if you win the tournament. Oh no, sorry, it's an elite. It's an elite.
Split 20, 15?
Maybe 20. Okay, but you're gonna cost you about 2 to get there. So $8,000.
Yeah, no, I don't
know. It just
I think when it comes, I was looking at tennis. I was trying to find a comparable thing. I think tennis is don't quote me on this, but your 19 tournaments. It's your points are based off of the last 19 tournaments.
Huh. Yeah.
So I think the 3 out of 4 is 3 of your last 4 is the most ruthless seeding and point in any.
It doesn't tell their story.
Individual.
Right story.
Well, it also it makes people play the points game. I mean, we've seen teams that have made the last Olympics. In my opinion, that played the points game and held on to some finishes that, made it because they held on to it. But if you extend it to, 6 out of your last 8, you guys go into Rosarito and having one of the gnarliest pools that are made up of all Olympians except for one, tying in third and, playing well. I was there. I was talking to you about it, and you're like, dude, we played well, but this was gnarly. Yeah. And just one bad finish, it's the shifting. It's tough. It's hard. It makes people pick and choose what tournaments they want to play in, and then you're scared going into matches where you talk about the honeymoon phase and whatnot. I think the Swedish team, they're doing well. They've beaten some gnarly teams. They beat Sharif and Ahmed.
They're really entertaining.
35-32.
They've proven themselves.
But if it is 6 out of 8, then
they just wouldn't have been in more as quickly.
Exactly.
But those guys, by this point with their body of work, they'd be in anyway. They're a top 5 team in the world now, I think.
Yeah. No, for sure.
You could say that.
I'm
It's
known for my rabbit holes. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We probably have lost a lot of listeners.
That's fine.
Just
you're
me
with
and
us,
Try talking story.
Yeah, I hope you had a long drive today. Oh, I love this stuff, though. It's so interesting to me because not that many people look into it. And you're like, know so much more about it than I do. Just like.
We just look at it from a different perspective.
Exactly.
You know?
But you guys have the player perspective, which is one of the cool things because we know that you guys understand where we're coming from and what our perspective is and what perspective we lack probably is more important there. Plus, you guys are just like really freaking smart, first of all.
I think we
business
just like
oriented. Your brother is like
we just brainstorm a lot.
You brainstorm? No, dude. Didn't Riley get in? He got into Stanford.
I got in Stanford.
You both got into Stanford.
Screw you.
See, I didn't know you got in actually.
I know. I got in for volleyball. So did he, though.
Yeah, but
You
guys are
but that doesn't mean anything.
smart, and you went to like business school. You guys were like very like we
Oh,
want
but
to
I think-
learn and understand business and like come out of college with like ready to compete in that. Whereas I'm like, oh, bro, if I could just pass these classes somehow and get this degree, then I'll have succeeded.
Yeah,
You guys are like,
I mean,
more business-minded.
college definitely helped us out a bit, but I think it
both
came from
Marshall
all of
School
our
business.
all of our experiences outside of it too.
Right, yeah.
Like if we never started making content and all this sort of stuff, like I don't think our mindset or the way we think about things would have changed. Like
Yeah.
So I think that has a lot to do with it, and just looking at what other sports are doing, because we make content around beach volleyball.
Right.
And we started making tutorials. And then Riley's like, dude, have you heard of vlogging? I was like, no. He's like, check out Casey Nice. I was like, people watch this?
Right.
So we went to vlogging. Then we
Yep.
went to doing tournaments or doing four-mans. Like, oh, could we make this profitable? How could we do this?
Yeah.
Creating shoulder content and just give context. Like, I remember doing an Olympic update, and we did it outside on my porch, and I had Riley do like an Italian interview to give an update on the Italians.
Dude, everyone loved that.
We were just like screwing around, and
Yep.
like it just making content and doing stuff around a sport just made us interested in like what else could you do? Like, why do I like other sports?
Are you guys more interested in the business side of it or like the content? Like, what's more kind of interesting to you? Like creating content? Because I know, like, I don't know. Did you create content as a kid? I remember Riley really liked it a lot. Like
Riley was more into it back in high school.
Yeah.
Like Riley actually made videos for like his
Class or
his
something
class.
like that.
He did that. He always kind of had like a video camera.
Yeah.
And he did like he definitely did have a passion or not passion, but like an interest for making
Yeah.
videos and films and all that sort of stuff. And then I ended up going to grad school at SC because I got injured, and my teacher like forced us to make some stuff. I ended up we had to make a web series, and mine was Some More Wine Please, SOMM.
Some more.
Some More Wine Please.
I want some more.
It was a web series about 3 guys who work at a winery. We filmed it at.
Didn't you ask Gabby to
Carl.
help you a little bit?
Probably,
for that?
yeah. I asked everyone. We'd like script it, write it out, this whole stuff.
Oh yeah.
So like
Baccaros.
Bacaro,
Yeah,
Bacari,
Baccaros. Yeah.
or whatever. It's awful.
Right.
It's so bad. We'll never see the light of day. But no, yeah. I think it was just. I mean, people know that story. Riley got injured, and we just kind of messed around. And I think we want to get back to having fun making this sort of stuff.
Totally.
Those
Yeah.
interviews that we did with you and the other players, and we have so much stuff from 2020 that like we could use with other AVP players of Theo. Like
Theo's sneaky funny.
people think Theo is so boring, and we
Yeah.
have so much great stuff.
It's funny
with
because
Theo.
Theo's the one guy who always says, "Yeah, we're just really boring." And like he's like Eeyore, but then he's like so witty and like with it.
Dude, he's so funny.
He's funny.
He is so funny.
Yeah, it's good.
But so
Dude.
what's next for you?
So I'm playing in Florida, Orlando event with John Hayden.
What?
I'm playing with John Hayden.
You are?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm playing with him in his last event ever.
Wow.
Which is like super cool for me. Full circle. I get to try to send it. Like, how sick would that be if we won it?
That would be dope.
It'd be sick. And he had a bad taste in his mouth after this season. I don't think he's happy about it, but Chicago particularly.
Was it Florida and Taylor or no?
Wait, what?
The taste,
no.
the taste
No,
in
no,
his
no,
mouth.
not at all.
No. It wasn't.
No,
a
it's
scuffle
just,
with Taylor.
No, I think he got last in Chicago. Like, he's like, I'm not gonna get last in a tournament
really?
as my last event. Like, he just didn't want to go out like that. No, I think he enjoyed the whole Taylor thing. He loved it. I mean, they were.
That's
thing.
rad.
That thing was just great entertainment. But yeah, so I'm playing with him, running it back. I'm super excited about it. I'm just gonna train on my own here for 3 weeks and then go out there after Thanksgiving. Put 4 days in over at Phil Dahlhauser Beach Academy or whatever, and then we're gonna drive over. So that'll be sick.
Dude.
Other than that, I don't know. I'm just cruising. Gonna go to Hawaii after that.
That's rad. That's a good way to finish off the season.
Yeah, man.
Well, we can get on a W.
December 2nd, which is what are you gonna be doing that day?
Might be delivering a baby.
Yeah, buddy.
Not me personally.
Well, you might have to catch. Who knows?
Yeah.
I'm stoked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very close.
Should be a good end to the year for us.
Yeah.
Dude, hour and a half. That was a good episode.
Well, cheers.
Cheers, brother.
To all you
Thanks for
who
coming on.
stuck around. Thanks for listening to
all
our
four
babbling.
listeners.
This is what our brainstorming sessions and discussions are about.
Exactly. There's one piece of golden nugget in there. You just have to find it.
Yeah. Just go back.
Cheers. Shoots.